I do strategy work for my full-time job and with my coaching. So I started to figure out how can I take that part of my brain where I'm really good at like operationalizing things and breaking it down and making it simple. How can I do that with my own life? So a great example of that is when I was going through recovery. And I think with a lot of us perfectionists, right, we look at food as simply fuel. And we start thinking like we just need to eat what's really good for our bodies. And anytime that we deviate from that, we start to just like, we get down on ourselves. We feel like, oh shoot, like I shouldn't have done that. Mm-hmm. And so indulgence and having anything that tastes good and feels good and that you're eating for a reason outside of nutrition is bad. So I started to experiment with that. And I started saying, okay, but how do I normalize this? How do I make it so I'm not afraid to have a small piece of cake at my Sunday family dinner when we're celebrating a birthday? And so I created a strategy that I call my conscious indulgence framework. Mm-hmm. So it's where my clients, I do encourage them, and I do with myself, indulge every single day. And I make it part of my nutrition strategy, because what it does, right, is number one, it keeps us from feeling too restricted, where we end up needing a massive indulgence to kind of compensate for eating broccoli and egg whites for the whole damn week. And on the flip side of that, it also starts to make it a little bit more normal, so that when you make a choice to have something a little bit more indulgent, it doesn't scare you. It doesn't send you into that feeling of failure, which then leads us to binge, which then leads us to overexercise and all of those negative things that we're trying to avoid. So I did that with a lot of different ways, a lot of the different problems that I was facing. I created these strategies for myself, and then now I teach those to others.
I love that. And like thinking about them as strategies and tools, or I think from an elementary school perspective of like scaffolding to help your kid move along. They need, like you gave yourself that hand